boys and girls. It's Miss Willette here for another video lesson. Let's look here over at my board. You'll see I've got some squares taped up. We're going to be reviewing some of our sight words this week. And under here, I've gotten some of those sight words written. So let's see if we can do some guessing. You ready? All right. This first sight word right here, I'm going to give you a clue. It's a word that has two E's right beside one another. And I don't think we have any other sight words that do that. It's got two E's beside one another. What do you think it is? Say it out loud. Were you right? It's the word see. Good job. The next one, it's a CVC word. Do you remember what that means? It's a consonant, vowel, consonant word. So it means it has three letters, consonant, vowel, consonant. What do you think it is? What is the word? Can, yes, can. You might have seen this one. The clue I was going to give with that is that it has four letters and it starts with the letter C. So if you saw it, this was it. What's the word? Come, right. And down here, this word is the opposite of yes. So what is it? You're right, it's no. And our last one down here has two letters and it starts with the letter M. What sight word do you think it is? What is it? My. That's right. So this week, we're going to be reviewing these sight words. See, can, come, know, my. Make sure you know those. Look for them around your house. Look for them in the stories that you read. Okay? So now I'm going to read with you a story called A Letter to Amy. We're going to get our brains ready to start thinking about how to write a letter. Because next week, we're going to write letters to Miss Willette. So let's read this story called A Letter to Amy by Ezra Jack Keats. In this story, Peter is having a birthday party and he's asked all of his friends in the neighborhood to come. But Amy, she's a special friend. So Peter wants to give her a special invitation. And when he rushes out into a thunderstorm to mail it, he runs into trouble. Will she get the letter in time? And will she decide to come? Let's read and find out if she'll get that letter and if she decides to come to the party. I'm writing a letter to Amy. I'm inviting her to my party, Peter announced. Well, why don't you just ask her? You didn't write a letter to anyone else, said Mom. Peter stared at the sheet of paper for a while and said, well, this way it's sort of special. He folded the letter quite a few times and put it in an envelope and sealed it. Now I'll mail it, he said. What did you write? His mother asked. Will you please come to my party, Peter? You should tell her when to come. So he wrote on the back of the envelope, it's this Saturday at 2. Now I'll mail it. Put a stamp on it. He did and started to leave. Wear your raincoat. It looks like it's gonna rain. He put it on and said, it looks like rain. You better stay in, Willie. And ran out to mail his letter. Walking to the mailbox, Peter looked at the sky. Dark clouds raced across it like wild horses. He glanced up at Amy's window. She wasn't there. Only Pepe, her parrot, was staring down. Willie, didn't I tell you to stay home? Peter thought, what will the boys say when they see a girl at my party? Suddenly there was a flash of lightning and a roar of thunder. A strong wind blew and the letter went out of his hand. Uh-oh. I wonder how he's going to get that letter back. He needs to put it in the mailbox. Well, Peter chased the letter. He stopped it with his foot, but then it blew away again. Then it flew high into the air. And landed, skipping across a hopscotch game. And the letter blew this way and that way. Peter chased it this way and that way, and he couldn't catch it. Big drops of rain began to fall. Just then, someone turned the corner. It was Amy. She waved to him. The letter flew right towards her. She mustn't see it or the surprise will be spoiled. Spoiled means it'll be ruined. The surprise will be ruined. They both ran for the letter. In his great hurry, Peter bumped into Amy. He caught the letter before she could see it was for her. Quickly, he stuffed the letter into the mailbox. He looked for Amy, but she had run off crying. Now she'll never come to my party, thought Peter. He saw his reflection in the street. It looked all mixed up. I think Peter's sad because his friend Amy left running and crying. Maybe when they bumped into one another, he should have said he was sorry. She didn't know why that had happened, and she left running and crying. So now Peter's probably wondering if she's going to come to his party. When Peter got back home to his house, his mother asked, "Did you mail the letter?" "Yes," he said sadly. Saturday came at last. Everybody arrived but Amy. "Shall I bring the cake out now?" his mother asked Peter. "Oh, let's wait a little," said Peter. "Now? Now! Bring out the cake now!" chanted the boys. "All right," said Peter slowly. "Bring it out now." I think Peter's still wondering if his friend's going to come. He doesn't want her to miss the cake. Just then the door opened. In walked Amy with her parrot. "A girl, ugh," says Eddie. "Happy birthday, Peter," said Amy. "Happy birthday, Peter," said the parrot. Peter's mother brought in the cake she had baked and lit the candles, and everyone sang. "Make a wish," cried Amy. "Wish for a truck full of ice cream," shouted Eddie. "A store full of candy and no stomach ache." But Peter made his own wish and blew out all the candles at once. The end. I wonder what Peter was wishing for on his birthday cake. I guess we'll never know. They didn't tell us. I wonder, we'd have to think about that. Wonder what he was wishing. All right, so now part of our job is going to be open up that writer's notebook that you have and turn to the first page that doesn't have any writing. And I would like for you to write on that page some things some topics, some ideas that you could write about in a letter to Miss Willette. Okay, so in this story, Peter wrote a letter to Amy to invite her to a birthday party. Okay, next week you're going to be writing a letter to Miss Willette. But right now we're just going to be thinking about some ideas, some things that I could write to Miss Willette. What are some things I could talk about? I know how to talk about a lot of things, but I gotta put them down on paper. So maybe one thing that you want to write to Miss Willette about might be about the games you've been playing. So maybe you've been playing some games. So maybe you're going to write down the word games because that'll help you think and remember when you go to write your letter, you want to talk about games. Maybe you want to write a letter to Miss Willette and talk about your cat or talk about your dog. Tell me about what your cat and your dog have been doing. Maybe you've got one of those and you want to talk about it. Maybe you've taught your dog a new trick. What other things could you write to Miss Willette about? You could tell me about the books you've been reading. Oh, I'm going to write down the word books. Maybe I would write to Miss Willette and talk to her and write to her about the books I've been reading. So right now, you open up your writer's notebook and I want you to write a long list of things that you could write about, that you could talk about in your letter to me that you write next week. Okay, so let's do that now. Okay, I will see you tomorrow with another video. And so goodbye for now.